Thought we already did this. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 125th episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as well as the 13th episode of Season 3 titled Stop the Hate Master Part 2. We begin this episode at the command center where Alpha is scanning Aisha to figure out what's keeping her immune from the Hate Master's hate dust. I already forgot how dumb this plot was. Turns out it's the obvious item of Aisha's necklace from her grandma. According to Zordon, it's acting as a shield. But then suddenly Zordon leaves and the power goes off in the command center. We learn that at the youth center, Billy has just cut the power off to the command center remotely, and he tells Kim to go inflict herself upon them all. Sick burn, Billy. Then Tommy talks about how he can do whatever he wants now that he won't have Zordon bugging him, but he says it like he has something to do with Billy. Tommy doesn't understand emotions very well. Rocky also says that he wants to stay clear of these clowns, and he leaves, which makes zero sense because why would he hang out with them to begin with if he's so damn hateful? On the moon, Zed says that the Rangers are kinda cute when they're mean to each other. Then, Rita says that Aisha could still spoil their anniversary. And Zed says, don't worry, Hate Master will get her. At the command center, Aisha and Alpha still can't figure out what happened, and Alpha blames Billy right away. I mean, what if it wasn't Billy? Alpha says that they need an alternate source of power to transport people in and out. Also, Bulk and Skull are outside the Youth Center cafe dressed as French waiters, harassing some poor woman they think might be doing the graffiti that we all forgot about from last episode. Rita says that with the Rangers out of the picture, they can finally go on a honeymoon, and Zed and Rita argue about when or how this is going to happen. Whatever. Zed sends down Hate Master, who struggles through another couplet or two. In the park, Bulk and Skull run into the Hate Master, and they get hit with the hate dust or whatever, and after the Hate Master leaves, they argue. In the command center, Alpha says that he hates Zed, but that's what Zed would want, so he can't hate him now. It's actually a nice little moment, to be honest. Alpha says that Zed really charges his circuits, and Aisha says, that's it, like Alpha just said something relevant at all. Aisha's plan is to leave and figure out what's shutting the power down, so they're going to hook up Alpha to the system to teleport her out. In the youth center, Alpha and Tommy are getting into an argument and they're about to fight. Kill him, Adam. Please, God. Meanwhile, Alpha is hooked up and he finds out that the juice bar is the source of the power blockage, but he can't get Aisha all the way there. So he's just gonna have to drop her off at the park. She gives Alpha her necklace in case he needs it to save the others, I guess? I don't really know. Whatever, she's in the park now when she runs into Tangas. Ninja Ranger power now! Yellow Ninja Ranger fights off the Tangas in a way better fashion than anything we've ever seen Aisha being capable of doing, and I'm pretty sure we see that she's an Asian dude at some point. Then, Tangas collect the dust under her feet, and Hate Master is there, and he's rhyming about how he's going to make her hate things too, and surprisingly, he actually hits her. Aisha struggles to fend him off mentally. Zed and Rita briefly talk about how they're going to win before the Hate Master straight up tells her to lose already because it's hard to keep rapping. Then Aisha remembers her grandmother and she fights off the hate dust, which causes Hate Master to leave because he needs to go recharge. Wasting my time. In the youth center, Adam and Tommy are finally about to fight when Aisha comes running in, just telling them that they all need to use the gift of fighting for sport only. What a square. She keeps begging them to be friends with her again, and somehow that kills the spell. Billy immediately gives Aisha his device for no reason whatsoever, and we see that the power is back on in the command center. Rita is screaming at Zed about how they're losing now, and Zed says, we'll just make him giant, which they do. According to Zordon, the spell isn't completely gone from the other Rangers somehow. There's literally nothing to insinuate that though. At the youth center, Bulk and Skull are arguing again when suddenly everyone's hate goes away. Whatever, it's worth it to see Bulk and Skull tell each other that they love each other. The Rangers communicators go off and Zordon updates them on the giant Hate Master. And Tommy steals Aisha's thunder, an opportunity, by saying, it's morphin' time. They immediately call out their Ninja Zords, and it's so damn drawn out by each Ranger individually landing in their Zords. I guess we ran short on time this episode, huh? And now we see individual Zord fights. The Frog Zord rolls out its tongue, unleashing tiny Frog Zords that are just bombs that attach themselves to the Hate Master? That was bizarre. Then, in an even more bizarre move, Tommy calls out Titanus. Where the hell has that dude been? Titanus fires at the Hate Master, and it makes me realize that Aisha, Rocky, and Adam should be really confused about what the hell this Zord is. Then the Ape Ninja Zord slashes the monster before the Falcon Ninja Zord fires off missiles. Then the Wolf Ninja Zord fires lasers. It's lame. But then, so do the bear and crane Zords, and then he just falls down exploding. And Tommy says that everything is done. That was incredibly anticlimactic. Rita yells at Zed for ruining their second honeymoon before we see that everyone is at the youth center. And Aisha says that the girls from the club want her to join because they found out what was going on with Veronica, so they kicked out Veronica and now they want Aisha to join. Anyone else totally and completely forget about that thing? Aisha says that she'll only do it if Kim joins, and she agrees, although I feel like this should be the other way around. Then Bulk and Skull reveal that they have discovered the name of the graffiti bandit via fingerprint testing, and turns out it's Skull. Apparently he spray painted his house once, and Ernie makes them clean up everything by giving them what I'm pretty sure are the exact same buckets that Rocky used to turn those footballs back into people a few episodes ago. Adam apologizes to Tommy about what happened, and they make up before everyone talks about how the spell brought out the worst in everyone. I mean, seriously, did you guys see Rocky's acting when he was attempting to be hateful? That was truly the worst. The end. Over the credits, we see an extended scene of Bulk and Skull making up from their spell going away, and then a blooper from when they were in the park. I feel like this two-parter could have been a single episode incredibly easily. Like, way easier. In fact, there are so many ideas in here that could have been used for other episodes. For instance, the graffiti bandit thing would have been fine as an episode all of its own for a monster that has something to do with art or like an art project or whatever. The club thing works for this plot, but I feel like it needed to be tied a little bit more closely to the finished product of the episode. And seriously, are we just not going to talk about how Aisha just has a super powered necklace now from her grandma that's apparently been in her family for generations? There are so many damn ideas here that the two-parter is packed with a lot of content, but it really needed the fat trimmed. Ironically, for once, the writers almost did a little bit too much work for an episode. So, how will the next episode fare? Find out next time, but until then, may the power protect you.